So this is the video to do a melt, distort, and also do a cut in half. So there is, if you scroll down, an image to upload. This has all the images cut and ready to make it easier. So again, download that, open it up in Photopea. So what you should see when you open it up in Photopea, that each one has been cut around. You can turn off ones you may not want to use. So for the first part, to do a cut in half, I'm going to zoom in. Make sure you're in the layer with the head, which is layer 2. You can just take the marquee tool if you want. Drag over what you want to chop out or cut off. You can either go backspace and delete it out, or you can go up to the move arrow, move it up a little higher. It's up to you. So when you do a cutaway, ideally, if you would be looking at this shape, the trick with a cutaway is you've got to be, especially if you're going to look down upon it, showing that there's still something there. It's not just a straight scissor cut. So for this, I usually like to go and click on the layer behind it. So it'd be for this one, the background layer. I'm going to come down to the ellipse. Again, the face is kind of a circular shape. Again, you can choose a color if you want. I'm just going to do a simple gray. Then, ideally, you place the ellipse as if it were the part that had gotten chopped off. You may need to bump it, move it, shift it slightly. If you want to match up the color, again, you can double click, slide the color picker over, go in and click on different parts. If you want it to like grab different areas, so you get different parts of, and then hit OK. So again, it makes it look like there's more surface there than there actually is. If you want it to be, again, this one is just making kind of like a smooth cut. Another way of doing this is to take the pen tool. Again, also make sure it's making a shape. And again, for this one, where you click, kind of similar to what you saw with the polygonal lasso. Again, where you click, it makes the shape. So again, you can make the shape any way you want. But again, it just gives you that surface to kind of make it look like something else is there. So that is the cutaway. So now you have an option. There is a checkerboard and there's a clock. You only have to do one. I'm going to show you how to do both, but you only have to do one. Ideally, you're going to make this kind of melt or distort. So I'm going to slide the checkerboard. Oops, make sure I'm the right tool. Would be helpful. I'm going to slow the checkerboard over a little bit. Move the clock over to the other side. So if I'm doing the checkerboard, one, we eventually got to lay this down. But the question is, do I want to lay all of this down? So I'm going to take the marquee tool, select the part I want to distort. So like this one, I'm only going to come and distort the upper half. So that's the only part that's being selected. Edit, free transform. Will give me only the, go to transform. And then I want to go down to perspective. So So perspective, again, we'll let it go back into space. But I want it to roll back, so I want it to squeeze in and down. So again, the trick is kind of to lay it down, squeeze it in. Again, if you want to move it one way more than the other, it's up to you. But by only selecting that part, notice it only adjusts that part. So it'll create kind of a break. And again, if you want to, once you've got it kind of set up based off the perspective, some people will actually do distort as well. Distort will let me shift it one way or the other so I can get space. If I want to run it back a different direction, I can. And then again, deselect that area. And then to make it melt, this is where you'd come in, click on your filter, liquefy, and you can do it smudge. Remember, it's a brush tool, so you can shrink in or expand. And then ideally just decide where you're going to let it kind of melt down. And just slowly kind of, you want to call it, kind of let it nurse its way down and in to be a drip. So again, not using anything we haven't used before, just using them in a slightly different way. If I'm doing the clock, again, same kind of thing, just make sure you're in the right layer. Select the part that you want to have that kind of breaks. This one, I'm not pushing, like this one, I made it go back in space. If you want to do that, again, that's perspective. Otherwise, you can just go straight to distort. And again, just tip it over. And again, you can push it over a little bit, down a little bit. The trick is you want to kind of keep certain points lined up. And once you have that, again, filter, liquefy. Do the same thing I was doing before. And you're going to get your DALL-E melting clocks. So remember, you only have to do one between the clock and the checkerboard. But I do want to see that you've done a cutaway, and you can cut it where you want. So once you've done this, then file, export as a JPEG.